where former Chief Minister Omar Abdullah has been questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with a money laundering case. This has to do with the Jammu and Kashmir Bank. The CBI had earlier booked former J&K Bank chairman Mushtaq Ahmed Sheikh and others for alleged irregularities in the sanctioning of loans and investments. Now, taking note of the CBI's FIR, the Enforcement Directorate has now initiated a money laundering probe. Arvind getting us the details of that. Nazir, focusing on the politics around all of this. Arvind, what more do we know at this point?
Ankita, the Central Bureau of Investigation late last year, that is in December, had booked the then management of the Jammu and Kashmir Bank for allegedly buying a property in BKC, that is Birla BKC complex in Mumbai at an exorbitant rate of somewhere around 180 crore. So that was a main allegation based on which the Central Bureau of Investigation had registered their FIR. And also what we are also being told is that the bank did not even pursue or did not even follow the tender process while acquiring this particular property. They just went, they found the property and then they paid this 180 crore and then they bought this particular property. Based on that particular allegation that the rules and regulations were floated during the acquiring or this buying of this particular property, the Central Bureau of Investigation had booked the then management of the Jammu and Kashmir Bank. Taking cognizance of CBI's affair, now the Enforcement Directorate has initiated a money laundering probe into this. And what we are being told by our sources is that the agency, the Enforcement Directorate, is trying to ascertain whether then Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister, that is Omar Abdullah, had any role in this particular deal, whether he played any role in Jammu and Kashmir Bank buying this particular property in BKC complex in Mumbai in 2010. That is the allegation based on which the Enforcement Directorate is currently grilling Omar Abdullah. And what we are being told is that his statement is being recorded under Section 50 of the PMLA Act. So Omar Abdullah is not an accused, let it be in the CBI's affair and also in the Enforcement Directorate case. But what we are being told is that the agency is trying to ascertain whether Omar Abdullah played any role in this particular deal, and that's why they are also looking into the proceeds of crime, whether the money has been changed from any particular person to this particular deal.
Nazir, the National Conference already reacting and calling this a vilification campaign?
Yeah, exactly. And they have said it is politically motivated, and they are in fact saying it is sort of an announcement of elections in any state. When elections are closer, so the central government is using agencies in that particular state, and in this case, Jammu and Kashmir, where it's expected that after the completion of delimitation process, which is by the end of this month, elections may be announced or held later this year. And they're saying, having said that, the NC is saying that Omar Abdullah will cooperate with the investigation. That is expected from any party when they have faced this case. But this is not the first case ED is investigating here. They are probing, they have investigated Farooq Abdullah, they have questioned him, they have questioned Mehbooba Mufti in other different cases, and her family, her mother as well. So almost entire opposition, we see they have been facing cases, and the case is not on its own. ED is actually questioning Omar Abdullah. There is a FIR by the CBI. Based on that FIR, ED has stepped in, and since there is a question of money trail, as Arvind was talking about, the property was purchased by Jammu and Kashmir Bank way back in 2010. And then which was alleged that it has been purchased on exorbitant rates. It is much higher than the market rate, which was 180 crore rupees. So the fact is, Jammu and Kashmir Bank is an autonomous bank, but so far there is no clear indication why Omar Abdullah has been questioned. Right. Is there any money trail, or is there any, his official position where he has been called for questioning? But as Arvind said, that Omar is not accused in this case, which was filed by the CBI.
All right. Thanks very much indeed, both of you, for getting us those details. Let's in fact take this across to guests who are joining us at this point. Imran Nabi, spokesperson of the National Conference, is with us, as is PKD Nambiar, analyst and BJP supporter, also with us on the show. Imran Nabi, what is the National Conference's stand on this? Your official reaction seems to be that this is some kind of vilification campaign.
See, absolutely. I mean, this whole process is, first of all, it is political in nature, and it's a template, and it is not restricted to J&K only. This template is being followed across the country. Wherever there is a credible opposition in different states and UTs, central agencies have been used to target them, and same is being done in Jammu and Kashmir as well. But as we have mentioned in our press statement also, Omar Saab is a law-abiding citizen in spite of today being this month being the holiest month for Muslims, and when they know that it is Delhi is not his, he doesn't reside in Delhi. He accepted the summon, and he went and he, as any law-abiding citizen would do, and he went ahead and he presented himself before the ED. As your reporter was also mentioned, talking about, there is no wrongdoing on his part. That is very important, and he is not an accused in any matter under investigation. So it is for the ED to come out with the clarification. Why are they calling him for this kind of
PKD Nambiar, opposition leaders have already sort of time and time again really questioned why agencies and indeed the Enforcement Directorate in particular seems to be opening cases against them and raising questions in this matter. Here, as the NC spokesperson on the panel also says, what is the connection that has been found? How is this not to be seen as, pressure tactics of one kind or another?
Ankita, this has become more of like a fashion these days, that if Enforcement Directorate or a CBI put up an inquiry on a political leader, suddenly it becomes that it is opposition leaders have been attacked and they have been put into some kind of a pressure tactics. But whereas the real truth, anybody whomsoever a journalist like you can check, that thousands of cases have been filed every day by Enforcement Directorate. That include political leaders too. There may be a large number of businessmen and many other kind of people. If there is some kind of a doubt in Enforcement Directorate, or for that matter any central agency,
how many of these politicians are actually sort of in any way linked with the ruling party?
No, that is, one thing you need to understand. It is something very easily blame that, oh yes, why there is no BJP leaders have not been pushed into the CBI. Or, may I ask something, that why there is no opposition leaders have been able to put up a blame on a BJP leaders even till today? There is no corruption charges is coming up. So why do you want that? Is it not like a tit for tat? You need to also understand there is a culture in this country. These are all these, whether it is from Kashmir to Kerala, large number of family enterprises, political, even though they call themselves as a political parties, these are all like a family enterprises, which is grandfather, father, and son, and then the grandson.
Mr. Nambiar, without going into generalities, in this specific case, even the Enforcement Directorate is saying that, he's been called in to help with investigations. At this point, no allegations are being made, even by the Enforcement Directorate.
So this is precisely the case. In this case, for an example, a bank has bought a property which is much higher than the market price, and the person Omar Abdullah was then the chief minister. If he has got some kind of an information, if the agencies want him to help out on this investigation, why the people are talking about it as if that he's been called and there is an allegation on him, or this is a witch hunt or anything? I think every law enforcement agencies will do their job.
Imran Nabi, respond to that. Has the NC's response been premature?
No, if he's speaking for ED, I will take his statement. But being a BJP, I'm surprised he's saying this, that ED is seeking help from Omar Abdullah. If this is what Enforcement Directorate is saying, then that is, we don't have any problems. But is the Enforcement Directorate saying the same thing? Is the ED saying the same thing? We need to know. Plus, whatever happened, we need to understand. Mr. Nambiar also needs to understand, and I'm sure he would understand this, that there are autonomous institutions working in different states. J&K Bank was also an autonomous institution in J&K. So whatever dealings that J&K Bank had, they will also clarify. The investigation, when investigation will go, they will also come to know about it. But I'm saying for his reference, but the statement that he just made, I don't know if ED has the same line of thought.
All right, fair enough. I'm sure we'll know more as the day progresses and indeed the questioning progresses.